Hi friends, Dr. Mitali Upadhye here. I am a homeopathic consultant and a holistic cancer care consultant as well as a healing therapist. Taking forward to our lecture series on management of cancer, today we are going to talk about the mind-body connection. 5 years ago, when I was diagnosed with my ovarian cancer in June 2013, post my surgery, I opted to go for mind-body healing techniques. The reason why I opted for this was very clear in my mind. I understood very clearly that if my body has manifested this cancer, then it is my body's responsibility to heal this cancer. I only have to support my body's healing mechanism in the best possible way. And for that, understanding the mind-body connection is very important. Being a homeopath for last 20 years, I clearly understood the connection between the mind and the body based on the patients that I saw in my clinic day in and day out. Often I saw in my clinic patients like Radhika. Radhika was a patient who was a housewife. She was living with her in-laws. Unfortunately, she wasn't getting along very well with her in-laws. Her husband wasn't supporting her at all. Radhika initially tried to speak a lot about her emotional suppressions that she went through in this new house. But eventually this led to fights and quarrels, and Radhika stopped speaking and talking and expressing about her pain. This led to a lot of emotional suppression. When Radhika came to me, she came with depression, she came with irregularities in her periods, loss of hair, dryness of skin, a lot of deficiencies, and it was not very difficult to understand that Radhika would be suffering from thyroid. When we got her test done, Radhika's thyroid test came positive and she was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. Giving her the right homeopathic medicines along with giving her proper counseling on how she should deal with her family situations as well as a lot of other techniques to deal with her own negative emotions helped Radhika to come out of her thyroid problem completely. Similarly, whenever I see any patients suffering from back pain or any of the maladies of the spine, I understand that they would definitely have some or other support problems in their life. It was not very difficult to understand that when Mrs. Telang lost her husband to an accident, she would start complaining of chronic lumbago or lumbar spondylosis. She was working. She had 2 small children whom she had to take care of. Suddenly, her whole world had come crashing down. Not just she was financially now deprived, she was also emotionally deprived. There was no one to support her financially as well as emotionally and mentally once she lost her husband. Our spine is our main support system. If any time there is any problem where a person perceives that he does not get enough support, or there are situations which actually take away the support from your life, the spine is what gets affected. Just like in the previous case we saw with Radhika. Radhika suffered from thyroid because thyroid is the gland that is present here at the neck. Whenever a person wants to say something but is unable to speak or say, the emotions get suppressed. These are the organs that are affected. Very often, emotional suppression is the biggest cause for hypothyroidism, recurrent throat infections that we see, or recurrent pharyngitis. Similarly, just like lack of support, actual lack of support or perceived lack of support is the main problem for any of the spinal maladies or spinal disorders. Often in my clinic, I see patients coming with joint pains. If you have ever experienced a typical joint pain, you will realize that it comes with pain and it comes with a lot of stiffness, especially stiffness as soon as you get up in the morning. A little bit of movement helps to release these joints and the patient feels better by warm fomentation and a little bit of physical activity. Often in the last 20 years, if I try to study the mindset of these patients who are suffering from joint pains and arthritis, what I have observed is that these are patients who are very rigid, very stubborn, very obstinate. So it wasn't a very big wonder that the same rigidity, the same stubbornness, the same obstinacy that is at the level of the mind is manifested by the body at the level of the joints. Along with giving homeopathic medicines, I often tell my patients to be a little understanding, to let go of their mental blocks, let go of their obstinate and rigid nature, and learn to be a little flexible, understanding and accepting in life, and that would help them to release their joints and be free of their arthritis problems. These and many such examples I have been experiencing and seeing in my clinic for the last 20 years. So when I was diagnosed with my ovarian cancer, it wasn't very difficult to understand that there was a lot of emotional baggage, a lot of emotional load of negative emotions like anger, resentment, disappointment, guilt that I was carrying inside me and which had been left unresolved or not well attended. And that was the baggage that my body had manifested finally in the form of cancer in my ovaries. Rather, I always say that the body knows what it is doing. The body had created a very nice baggage or bundle of all these painful negative emotions into my ovaries. The cancer operation, the surgery had removed this tumor out of my body. But just doing surgery and removing the tumor was not the answer to the problem. I understood that only when I work on my mind, only when I work on my emotions of anger, resentment, disappointment, hurt, which I have been carrying inside me for the last many years, will my cancer really be healed. Externally trying to suppress it with chemotherapy or other toxic drugs would only heal the cells that are already manifested in my body. But I would really have to take help of the mind-body healing and understand the mind-body connection if I have to prevent my body from becoming cancerous and my normal cells from becoming cancerous and creating new cancer growth in my body. A little we will talk about this mind-body connection today. Let us try and understand what do I mean by this. We all have now heard a lot about cellular healing or quantum science. It has been now proved scientifically through physics that we are no more the physical mass that we look like. What our bodies are or what the entire universe is and each and everything in this universe is nothing but energy. Energy vibrating at such a high speed and intensity that we look like these compact mass. But in reality, we are nothing but energy that is vibrating. And hence, understanding this energy becomes very important. Have you ever noticed that whenever you meet somebody, even before you actually go and talk to that person, you get a deja vu feeling of wanting to know the person, wanting to understand this person. How does this happen? Because even before you physically went to talk to this person, the auras of you and the other person have communicated with each other. Your energies have already met. They've already touched each other. They've already communicated with each other. And it is at that point that you've understood that these energies are vibrating at the same frequency. These energies are compatible. And you feel like wanting to know that person better and feel like being friends or in relationship with that person. Vice versa, exactly opposite happens. Where no matter how hard and desperate you try to make certain relationships work, they always fall out or they always turn sour and bitter. Because at the energy level, at the aura level, you are not vibrating at the same frequency. Bringing the same analogy down to our body, whenever any kind of negative incidences happen in our life, we create negative emotions, we create negative feelings. These negative emotions and feelings are energies which interfere with our body. They cause disruption of energy within our body. These negative emotions and negative energy, may it be in the form of anger, resentment, guilt, jealousy, disappointment, hatred, sadness, loss, pain, they all will be stored inside our body in the form of cellular memories. The longer these stay in our body, they create disruption in our body. They block the cell receptors of our body. The cells whose receptors get blocked go into isolation. Such isolated cells get broken off from the main stream of the body. They get completely broken off from the nourishment and the nutrition, both at the physical level as well as at the emotional level, that they are expected and supposed to receive, and which is necessary for them to thrive and grow. Such isolated cells which are full of negative energy in the form of negative memories and negative emotions, which are called as cellular memories, eventually fall sick. In order to survive, some of them also mutate and become cancerous. This is exactly the understanding at the cellular level, at the level of the mind-body connection, as to how diseases are created. Now, if we have to heal ourselves, it would not be very difficult to understand that if we are able to access these negative traumatic memories, release these cellular memories, release the pain and the negative energy associated with it, the cell's receptors would naturally open. The cells would once again connect with the body's mainstream. They would once again receive the nourishment and the nurturing that it wants, and they would once again thrive and grow. The body's healing mechanism would once again be empowered to heal itself. The body's healing mechanism works very hard in keeping us healthy, and it tries very hard to work on these issues. But often, if the energy disruption is very strong and very large, the body healing mechanism is unable to deal with it, and that is when it needs help. And that is when it starts manifesting diseases in the form of heart diseases, diabetes, cancer, tumors, allergies, skin infections, depression, obesity, which is nothing but a body's cry for help. The body trying to tell us that it is not able to deal with this problem on its own and it needs help. At such a time, if you are able to take help of healing therapists who can guide you, to help you access your subconscious memories, access these cellular memories, which are also called as phantom memories, release the negative energy of anger, resentment, pain, hurt, disappointment that is stored inside you. Help you also work on the negative beliefs that you have created because of these negative incidences. These beliefs are also nothing but energy, but very often we human beings, because of the circumstances in our life, do create negative beliefs which are called as sanskars. Very often, most of us live with this belief that I am not good enough. I don't deserve the best. I'm always cheated. I'm always exploited. People take advantage of me. I am not lucky. Life is hard work. Life is tough. Life is difficult. I can never get along with people. People always ill-treat me. No matter whatever I do, I'm always misunderstood. These are not mere statements that we make. These are actually beliefs. These are actually energies that we have created within us, on the basis of which we live our day-to-day life. This is the frequency at which we start vibrating. And if we are vibrating at such an energy, at such a negative frequency, we are attracting all the other negative energies in the universe. When I am vibrating with a frequency of jealousy, my antenna is up and I am attracting all the negative energy of jealousy that is present in the universe, and I multiply my energy of jealousy within me. I am vibrating at an energy which is attracting everybody else who is vibrating at the level of jealousy towards me. Naturally, I am attracting more and more negativity in my life. And then I keep saying that life is tough, life is difficult for me. Something like this really happens in the life of a cancer patient too, or anyone who's going through some major lifestyle diseases. What usually we see in cancer is that the patient has a huge emotional baggage of anger, of resentment, of bitterness. They start feeling disappointed with life. Eventually, this disappointment with life grows to such an extent that they feel that life has given them a raw deal and life is not worth living. And they really start getting totally disappointed with life and resenting their own life and the people in their life. What I have observed while working with more than 5 years with cancer patients, and based on my own personal experiences, that cancer has its own personality. It has its own psyche. What I have typically seen with cancer patients is that these are people who are very reserved and introvert. They rarely come out and speak about their problems and their issues. They prefer keeping their problems to themselves, often working with this philosophy that if somebody cannot help me, then there's no point in talking about my problem with them. Or why trouble somebody else with my burden? They already have enough burdens of their own. Whatever philosophy they are with, they usually are reserved and introvert people which tend to keep things to themselves. To make matters worse, very often these are sensitive and emotional people, and hence they get hurt very easily. They get offended very easily, and they don't want to talk and share about it. They don't want to communicate, and they don't want to clear issues. They often want to stay quiet and stuff all this inside them. Another thing that I have observed is that these are also people who are very loving and caring. They are the ones who would be the center of any event, any activity, where they are the ones who are running and doing everything for everybody, hands-on. And they would never want to say no. They would never want to disappoint anyone, because it is very important for them to look good in everybody's eyes, to be appreciated, to be loved, to be wanted. And hence, they would often burn themselves out because of their inability to say no to people, to circumstances, to things. Apart from that, these are also people who are perfectionists, who are fastidious, and as a result, they want things in order. They burn themselves out in keeping things in order, and they often irritate others, and they irritate themselves, and they make life miserable for themselves and others in their drive to be perfect. And this fastidiousness makes them take their responsibilities very seriously. These are people who take all responsibilities very seriously, whether at the home front, whether at the family front, whether at the work front. And often, because they take their responsibilities very seriously, no matter whatever they do, they are not happy. It's not enough for them. And they land up blaming themselves. They land up feeling guilty. There's a lot of self-criticism. They'll make their life painful and miserable for themselves. This is the kind of the cancer psyche or personality that I am talking about. Again, coming from very deep beliefs of I am not good enough, I'm not loved, I'm not appreciated, driving them to do what they are doing. Having understood this, it was very important to first treat this along with whatever other treatments that you are taking. I always tell all my patients that you are absolutely free to go ahead with your surgeries, your chemotherapies, your radiotherapies, or whatever line of treatment you feel you want to take based on what your doctors are telling you. But don't forget to work on your mind. Don't forget to work on your emotional baggages. Learn to free yourself. Learn to change your energy. Because only then can you ensure that you will continue to remain healthy. One of the most alarming things that I am seeing today and all of us are seeing today is tremendously large amount of increase in recurrence of cancer. Cancer per se has taken you about 10, 20, 30 or 40 years to manifest itself in your own body. Lifestyle diseases are not something that you suddenly develop like a cough and cold. I always jokingly tell my patients that we have worked very hard to earn the diseases that we have got. You really have to slog your butt out to get a disease like cancer or obesity or diabetes. It's not that easy. It either could be that you have been living a lot of negativity in your life for something like 7, 8, 10, 20 years. Or it could be that 6 months, 1 year, 2 years prior to your disease, you have had to go through tremendous mental stress. And this is what has led or pushed your body into an environment which is hostile, which is acidic, forcing your body cells to fall sick. And as a result, no matter whatever you do externally, correcting your internal environment becomes your first most priority, and when it comes to healing. It is very important to understand that we need to take responsibility of our own healing. The earlier you are able to accept your disease, the earlier you are able to take responsibility, because with responsibility comes empowerment. It is only when you take responsibility of your own healing do you empower yourself. You start looking within and you start understanding how you could have been responsible for creating your own disease and how you can now uncreate your own disease. Lastly and finally, before we close, when it comes to holistic healing, when it comes to mind-body healing, we consider our disease and our body as our friend. I often hear statements of fight against cancer. Cancer is your enemy. When I started on my journey of healing from cancer, I decided to befriend my cancer. Because what can be befriended can be trusted. It is our own body that has fallen sick. You cannot fight your own body. You cannot fight your own mind. You can befriend them. You can trust them. And then you can very lovingly, caringly heal them. And such a healing is permanent healing. Today, after 5 years of living completely cancer-free and persistently 5 years experiencing all my blood reports, my PET scan reports, my sonography reports, persistently each year coming negative and I staying healthy and fit, I think I have definitely that authority to say that healing is what is most important. And don't fight your cancer. Befriend your cancer. Love yourself, love your body, understand why that disease has happened, what is it that your disease has come with, what message it is bringing to you. Make the rightful changes within you, in your lifestyle, in your mindset. Take help of the right healing therapists, right healing techniques. Heal yourself completely. so that you won't just be free from your cancer, you will also be free from recurrences, which is something that has been seen at an alarmingly large rate today. People taking chemotherapies, radiotherapies, oral chemotherapies, and then eventually within 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years, coming back with cancer. Cases happening in hospitals where doctors, oncologists, oncosurgeons have to finally say that this medicine has stopped working, it is not working for you anymore, and there's nothing that we can do for you. Don't push your body to those states. Learn to heal your body from within. This is Dr. Mitali Upadhye from Holistic Clinic. Feel free to get in touch with me if you need to know anything more about holistic management of cancer and how to be free from cancer. You can always visit my website www.drmitaliupadhye.com. You can also find me on Facebook, on LinkedIn. You will find my videos on YouTube, and anytime I'm available to counsel you, to help you, to give you any kind of therapies if you're interested in. Stay happy, stay healthy, and heal well. Heal